Where'd my camera go?
Oh no.
Oh no. There I am. All right. Hey, we're live. Welcome everyone to Table Talk, where we talk all things tabletop. I'm your host, the Bad Luck Gamer, along with my temporary co-host, Booter, or
Hello
they're
there.
the Sir Peanut Booter.
It me.
It's him, the boy.
I've been promoted for a week.
Yeah, Alex is sick, and I am currently hot in the works to get his sick Nurgle counter up. So, while I'm working on that, Booter's gonna be helping me today.
And it's definitely a natural sickness. And I came here on completely by coincidence.
Yeah. For
No
those who
usurping involved.
for those who don't know, Booter here is one of my players in our Tuesday live plays. He's currently playing Sprite. So, figured I'd bring him on today. Great guy to bounce things off of and just talk about general tabletop stuff. But as always, we tend to get to the topic at about the 25-minute mark. So if you're watching this post the fact or you're coming here new, you can hop to that point where we get to the actual subjects. But today is mostly just kind of a chat and stream. Tomorrow is going to be a bigger stream because we will be watching the. Well, I'll be simul streaming the PaizoCon opening panel and the Starfinder 2E panel. So you got 3 hours tomorrow to stream, which will be fun, I guess. I don't know. Should be fun. But until then, so Booter, what's been going on with you? You just got done with school for the summer, and you're working on a game. Tell us about your game.
That's true. My game design class, we had to work on a game, and now since it's over, our group decided to take it further than that. Aiming for IndieCon next at the end of the month. Our game is just, it's a card battler slash dating sim, which is an interesting concept. If you guys like Slay the Spire and Monster Prom, we got the game for you.
Yeah, also I heard you guys were changing the name. Have you guys settled on the new name yet?
We are. We have not decided on the new name yet.
I see. Unfortunate.
Something we'll probably have to do in the next week, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure.
And I guess for everyone here, what do you do? What's the thing that you work on?
I am a designer, general designer, and mainly a writer for this game. Uh, a lot of writing to do, and I have the majority as the lead writer. Such an honor.
And
It's,
how's that going for you?
it's going pretty good. If I just want everyone to know, if you end up liking any of the characters, you're actually falling in love with me directly. In case that's a selling point for you. I know how dreamy I can be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me, on the other hand, I've been busy. Busy. We have so much going on in the next, like, few months. Like, a ridiculous amount. We have, literally, PaizoCon is tomorrow. I'm so sad that it's also not, like, it's not a in-person convention because they're so much better. They're so fun to do. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
But, gotta do what we gotta do. And also, it's really it's super hard to have physical conventions nowadays. So, it's for the best. But still, I don't have to like it. And yeah, we just got done with, well, done, quote unquote done. Oh, that looks so good. Sorry, I'm messing with this new font. Ooh, actually, that's perfect. I accidentally added a layer that made things so much better. Sorry. Design work is what I do when I make thumbnails. Let's see. What size?
And it was completely on purpose, planned from the start.
And from the start. No way you could prove otherwise. Okay. I'm done. Let's see. We're gonna video assets. I'm gonna make a new folder. I'm just gonna call it Nurgle. We'll see what there's other things I might do with this font. It's a cool font, honestly. All right, export this as a transparency.
You have to make the sacrifice to the evil gods to beg them to spare our boy.
Yes, please bring Alex back. I need my co-host. Otherwise, I'm with another non-YouTuber, bro.
I know. This is rare for me.
What's your channel?
I don't know. I mean, now that I'm doing this with you, I guess I have to start because we all know outside of our games, you are going on and on constantly about how you can't see us, you can't interact with us because we just don't have enough followers. Just basic plebs over here.
Exactly. I just can't handle it. I need someone on my level.
Like when we do play games normally in our spare time, the rare occasions that you allow that to happen, every once in a while you'll just like turn to look at the camera that's not rolling and like talk to the audience, and I have to say, Cam, what are you doing? We're just normal people here, and you audibly gag most of the time.
True. Can't be proven otherwise. There we go. How do you like this, Glue Boy? This is your new Nurgle counter. I have made it. We need to get a sound clip of you hacking and wheezing into the mic. And I can play a soundbite every time we up the Nurgle counter, but we have the first Nurgle counter. Yeah. All right. Now that I can focus again, oh god, there's so much going on. Also, like, to clue you all in on what's going on in my personal life, I have to so we want to get a shed for our house to put things in, obviously. The problem with a shed is it's very hard to just drop a shed. I mean, you can get like a small shed that you can drop things into, but if you want to get like a mower in there and stuff like that, you need a little space. And you can't just plop them down like anywhere on your yard. You need to keep the bodies somewhere. No, actually, that's what the backwoods bog is for. This one's purely so I don't have to
for disposing of them.
Yeah, exactly. I need the place to put the chlorine buckets. And so we were looking at some. We were any. That's a great question. Any trap cards in your game, Booter? Trap, emphasis on the trap.
Not yet. We're very limited in our time frame, but I'm sure everyone would be on board for that.
I'm sure.
That seems right up their alley.
And also, hi Gabriel. I saw you there. I just was really busy.
Hi,
Yes.
Gabriel.
Conquer your neighbor's shed. Well, the problem isn't like getting a shed. We can buy a shed easy. The problem is, do you know how expensive it is to put in cement anywhere?
Oh yeah.
It's really expensive. Like, we tried to get some quotes to get some companies to come out. It's like $1,000 to put like a 10 by or an 8x10 slab, like floating slab in your yard.
Just leave it. Just put it there in the back where it is. Just hope it doesn't rain too hard. It doesn't rain up there where you are, right? I live in Southern California.
It doesn't
That's
rain.
normal.
It doesn't rain for 4 out of the 12 months of the year straight. It's actually probably more than that, but the other months are a little less, like, is more, a little bit more on and off. So we need to put in the cement ourselves, which means I have to mix cement. We don't have an outdoor faucet at the moment. So we need to have a guy. My mom knows a guy. He's going to come out, tell me where to dig. I'm going to have to dig my own trench that he's going to lay the pipe into so we can get an outdoor faucet. Then I have to clear out the space, level it out. I have to build a frame. Then I have to mix and pour my own cement, which is going to take all day. Then we can buy a shed. And the crazy thing is, doing all this bullshit is still going to be way less expensive than just having people come install it for us. Like hundreds of dollars cheaper. It's crazy. That's what you get when you own a house. You have to do a bunch of stuff yourself. To be fair, we got this property for a steal, and now I know why.
Because there was no shed.
True. Also, speaking about Booter being here, Booter is also the one who's getting us to play Mutants and Masterminds for our next season after we're done with Riptide.
Finally, someone's agreed to play it with me. I'm so excited.
You know, I'm excited too. I haven't actually played Mutants and Masterminds, or maybe I did like once, or I looked into it. I can't remember. It might have been another hero-based TTRPG because there was a lot, actually. But it's going to be fun. It'll be a nice, easy breezy 10-sessioner. And then we're going to probably play Plague Watch, which will be a lot of fun, which is the homebrew I have for Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
I'm so excited, but again.
I know, right? And the cool thing about it is my setting is kind of more modern fantasy kind of setting. A little grimdarky, not a ton, but the current event is a little grimdark. And with Starfinder 2E going to be like coming out and getting to see the rules for that, we'll have some really cool rules to drop right onto that setting, which is going to be really cool. So, I am hyped. Also, thanks to How of the Wild, and honestly for a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming out in the next couple months, I'm going to go hog wild. I'm going to buy everyone character art for their characters. We'll get their Fugis set up, so we'll have a very legit looking stream, or a legit looking live play for the next season. Ah, I see. Damn it. Alex, why aren't you here? I think I need to go into my video manager. They changed. Oh. Oh no, that was an error message. Man. Be gone. There we go. Oh, I can do it from that screen. Okay. Alright. So excited for Starfinder 2E being in the Pathfinder 2E space so that I can play another TTRPG without having to learn the rule set. I mean, fair, but also, like, I like trying out new games. So, you know.
You should just do what I do, which is find a friend who has to learn other games for their job and then play with them. So you don't actually have to learn any of the new rules.
True. Just befriend a streamer.
Exactly. Easy. And then eventually you can trick them into playing the game that you've wanted to play for years, and then you still don't have to learn the rules for that one.
Yeah, you didn't really explain, but yeah, it's a game that you really, really want to play, made a bunch of characters for, and have never played once.
Yeah, I've spent hours and hours and hours making characters for the game, and then just never had the opportunity to play it. It's so fun. I just love making characters in that game, honestly. The system is so good for making superpowered characters.
It's genuinely, I'm excited. Another game I'm also really excited to play at some point. I want to play Fabula Ultima. We touched a little bit of it, but now they added a new book to it, adding some more stuff and more sci-fi stuff and better crafting rules for making weapons.
Yeah, I saw that stuff.
I want to play it so bad.
It was really fun when we played.
Yeah. It's a tragedy we didn't get to play for more than like a session.
I agree.
I think there's a lot of really cool stuff with it, and I think I like a lot of the class stuff they did. So, we will definitely touch it in the future. Man, how much do I wish I had the free time to just play TTRPGs.
I agree. 5 days a week, 9 to 5, TTRPG. That's living the life. That's too much social interaction. I take it back. But you get the idea.
Maybe, well, I mean, hey, if it's your job, you know.
That's true.
You could be doing worse things.
I mean, I guess I'll settle for the job of playing games all day, but...
Yeah. Oh, woe is me. Playing tabletop for a living.
I'll be a martyr for the cause.
Yeah. But anyway, so PaizoCon. You know, honestly, Paizo's been so hard at work just making new things and doing like the remaster on top of it. Like literally everyone we spoke to from Paizo has been like, I'm so glad we're not nearly as busy. Like we're still busy, but we're not nearly as busy as doing the remaster. And they have been so excited that they've spoiled so much about everything. Like if any of you who are watching don't know, in our community, we have people who are constantly eagle-eye watching out for whatever anyone says, making lists, going on to Reddit to tell everyone all the juicy secrets. So hey, you know, join the Discord, get some get some stuff about Pathfinder 2E that they talk about in all their streams. There's a lot. To the point where I don't know what they're gonna actually talk about in PaizoCon. It could be more. I mean, like, the Guardian and the Commander came out of nowhere. And that's for stuff coming out in 2025. Which means they already know what's coming out in that book. Because they're pretty much, like, about a year in advance as far as, like, everything they have planned. Yeah, the character guide has so... Yeah, I thought the same thing. Legitimately, I heard. And it's so cool that in our stream, James Case let it be known that there's 2 Magus Hybrid Studies coming out. Which is very, very fun. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Starfinder 2 has been pretty tightly, like, under wraps. I mean, even, oh, crap. I dropped the name. It's on the floor. Thurston Hillman, who's been one of, like, the lead guys on Starfinder 2E, who also... he doesn't technically run Narrative Declaration, but he's the GM for Narrative Declaration. Has been, like, talking about it, but he's like, I can't say anything, but there's some really cool stuff coming out. So, I don't know. Any new witch patrons? You mean in relation to what? Hell of the Wild had 3 new witch patrons. So, I made a video on that. You can go check that out. And you know what? What's also crazy? I'm still not done with Howl of the Wild. I took a little bit of a break. Some stuff came up as well, so I took a little bit of a break. But beyond that, I pretty much did like 2 weeks straight of videos. And there's still so much more. There's still the Zoophonic Bard Muse they added to the game, which a new Muse is huge. There's also the new animal companions they added. There's like 4 archetypes I didn't touch, 2 ancestries I didn't touch. I will be touching them, though, don't worry. Nothing in that book will go unmolested.
I still can't forgive them for... They gave us so much, but they have to take away my beloved.
Oh,
they refuse to give me sentient food.
Sentient food people.
I'll forever be upset about it. Just let me play a living hot dog.
Yeah. Give me the Book of 9. I really want to see the claw and wing archetype. The claw dancer's really, really cool. Isn't that the Goron? Is that what the Goron are? I thought that was something different.
If I learn right now that sentient food has been a thing, and you've been keeping it from me, you've been gatekeeping sentient food all this time.
They're plant people.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not quite the same thing.
You've been spared today.
Oh no, this was the food people.
No.
Yeah, the Archmage next asked Renegade Druid Gorus to create a plant that would feed his people even in the most inhospitable land. And Gorus did so, developing a flower that would adapt to every environment within every magic crafted spell working. He succeeded too well in the strange soil of the impossible lands. The flower grew and soon began to think and walk and speak. Oh, these were the food people.
I'm so upset.
I'm upset too. They were described to me They were described to me, the Goron, as plant people, and it sounded nothing like what something Eric Mona was talking about at all. But no, these are the food people. Oh my god. Though I'm also a little sad because these are nothing what I thought they meant by the food people. Because he was joking that they were going to give them this trait that made them delicious. Yeah, they're just plant people. They were just intended to be food.
That's so lame. I'm gonna play one, and it is gonna be a hot dog plant.
Hot dog plant.
Or I'll just play Alex's worst nightmare, and it looks like a plant, but it's actually
You're-
cake.
you're oh wow, the double layer. I thought you were just gonna be people who look, or cake that looks like people, but no, plants. Plants that look like people who are actually cake.
Yes.
Vegan sentient hot dog. I am soy. I am the Soylent Green they told you about.
They've heralded my name across these lands for years to come. I have arrived.
They kind of have a cool weapon for the Goron. It's just a whip, though. It's just a slightly spicier whip. Oh, it's a whip. Wait, are whips in the brawling group? No. Weird, it's a whip that's in the brawling group. Huh. Every ancestry is edible. True.
Not everyone.
Especially most of them from Out of the Wild.
Androids. The other robots.
There are metal eating ancestries out there.
All right. Well, I guess that's fair. I don't know. Flesh warp might not be too edible, depending on whatever sub ancestry you pick up.
Oh, apparently the Goron were delicious in Pathfinder First Edition. Yeah, yeah.
They removed it?
They had a racial trait. They're no longer delicious.
I can't believe this. What happened in the time between Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2 that removed the allure of Goron?
Man, I'm
in
learning
the
so
lore?
many things today, and I'm just not happy about many of them. Well, the more you know, the more cursed you become, I suppose. They grew bitter. Flavor has nothing to do with it.
They just look like people too, which is sad.
They're just plant people. Legitimately, they're just plant people. I wanted food people. I
want
utmost upset.
I want something that would be on my plate at a dinner table, but then it stands up and admonishes me for wanting to eat it, because then I can eat it knowing its peak deliciousness.
But yeah, so PaizoCon. Anyway, now that many hopes have been crushed today, I legitimately don't know, right? Because we know what's coming out more or less in the Qiansha character guide. We know loosely what's coming out in War of Immortals, though not everything. And we know there's a bit more stuff. Granted, Divine Mysteries, I know Luis Loza has been trying desperately to keep everything under wraps because he really, really likes the book. He's super excited about it. We're going to find out more character archetypes that are going to be coming out, which is going to be really cool. And I hope we get to hear about some of them at PaizoCon. Because honestly, the only classes that had character archetypes or class archetypes up to this point were mostly spellcasters. And while spellcasters are still getting some, we know at minimum Investigator is getting a new one. And
You're
some
probably
other
hyped for
good
that.
ones. And Gunslinger.
Ooh.
You know, funny about Gunslinger. So we were getting our oil changed today. And the guy sees the shirt I'm wearing, which has Harsk on it. He's like, "What's your favorite class, fighter or gunslinger?" And I was just like, "I think I'm an investigator guy." And he's like, "Figures you would be a dweeb." Which, you know what? Fair.
Spell shot's made up. It's a fake spell. I looked into it for my gunslinger and was disappointed.
They improved, I think, some of it in the errata they just came out with.
What? That's pretty hype. Now I don't have to multi-class into cleric with an unknown sketchy entity to get my spell casting.
You know, I'm surprised their errata didn't do Secrets of Magic. I felt like that one has a lot more need than Guns and Gears. Granted, I'm happy for the Guns and Gears stuff. They're really cool. Inventor got better, which is so hype. Their Inventor now has a easier time with Unstable. Now it's only a DC 15 rather than 17. Which is very hype. And another thing I know because of our interview with no, it wasn't because of our interview. Easy Does It from our Discord mentions that Thurston Hill mentions the Swashbucklers getting some buffs in Player Core 2. Is there a god that favors a gun? Yes, actually. Qiansha introduced one that favored the Arquebus. And I do think there's another god that favors a gun, but I can't remember which one it is. But PaizoCon is their event every year. It's the place where they talk about some of the hypest stuff coming out in future books. So, what can they reveal that we haven't talked about yet, that we don't know about, or that might make everyone excited?
Kill another god.
Kill another god. Get
Right off the
2
bat.
for 1.
You thought it was done? No.
I love the fact that they chose Gorham, and he's just perfect for making artifacts with. They'll reveal a Pathfinder movie. That would be hype, but you know what I would want more than a movie, more than anything? A really, really good CRPG. They do have one they just announced coming out soon, or that's in the works anyway. But I believe it's like a minis style one, which is okay. I just, after Alcat did wonderful things with both Kingmaker and with Wrath of the Righteous, you can't blame people for wanting something of a similar level, I'm happy it's getting done. The Pathfinder 2e rule set, I think, is really good. especially for like a more video game-esque approach. Rogue Trader was also really good. Wanted Pharasmagon. Ooh, a spellcaster class that only has one spell, but it grows and evolves with the character in the same way an island would. That's an interesting idea.
What you've just described as a warlock.
Kinda. It does just sound like you just want Eldritch Blast, but in Pathfinder. To be fair, though, that does sound cool. Like the ultimate combat caster who only has one spell.
Pursuing absolute perfection through the path of extreme focus on one thing.
You already have that. It's called Kinesis, and it's way better. But they're not only one spell. They have many spell-like effects.
Is Kinesis the one I'm playing?
Yes. How do you not
rocks.
know?
I never remember what it's called. I play him, and he's great. He's amazing. It's probably my favorite class so far, maybe.
It's is so a really good class. It's outrageous how good Kinesis is, honestly.
It's so good. They just need to give a couple actually decent earth wood combo infusions or whatever they are. That's not what they're called.
Composition impulses.
Yeah, impulses. There's no good earth wood ones, and I'm so sad about it.
Yeah, you'd figure that would be the one that they would have the most ideas for. It makes
right? They go together so well.
I don't think they're going to release any more information on classes, though. Who here knows anything about Starfinder or who has looked into it at all? I'm curious because maybe with Starfinder 2nd Edition, new Starfinder class, new beginning Starfinder class, kind of like Witch.
Or more space-related stuff for base Pathfinder.
Yeah, but what if they came out with a 7th one? Secret 7th. For PaizoCon. You know. I'm just spitballing. I don't know what they haven't... That's the crazy thing, right? I literally don't know what they haven't told us yet. They've given so many spoilers for all their things. Like... it's a lot easier, I think, to find what they've told us than what they haven't told us at this juncture.
I'd be hyped for some more space races.
Maybe more class archetypes that change how classes function. I mean, there's definitely some that we know they haven't talked about yet, and there's some that we know. I do believe there's several class archetypes coming out in War of the Immortals, which I'm hyped for. Honestly, despite Fighter kind of being the generic, like, here's your beginning class kind of character, because you really don't have to try to make a fighter good. I would love to see a fighter archetype. I would like to see fighter give up their +2 to do other cool things in combat.
But then, how are they going to be so OP?
Oh, the wild's got a heavy water influence. Are they hinting at something? Maybe. I don't know. Now let's not go too crazy. You know what, Devin? I give up the +2. There's also mention possibly making a Nanosite an archetype. Yeah. Oh man, Starfinder is like I'm sad at how little I know about Starfinder, and I'm scared because I'm gonna start covering Starfinder 2nd edition when it comes out. When the playtest comes out, that's when I'm really going to hit the content, because I want to establish myself as one of the go-to Starfinder people as it's coming out. I feel like that's something this channel can easily do, and that would be a really strong foothold overall, while also covering everything that's coming out. I mean, obviously with the release of Starfinder 2, they got a lot of stuff to get in order before they start releasing a bunch of content, so you know, I can have some breathing room. And to be fair, I started Pathfinder 2nd edition only playing 1st edition a handful of times. Man, you're so gonna never sleep at this point. I know.
Sleep is unnecessary.
Shut up,
It's
you.
superfluous at this point.
You're the last person I want to hear about sleeping right now.
I get all my sleeping out 1 month of the year, and then I never do it again.
I like honestly, I'm excited for the journey. I'm excited to pick up Starfinder 2, and I'm also excited to add more Lancer content. Like having the channel be being more of a heavy split between fantasy and sci-fi, I think is kind of cool, honestly. While still talking about some other tabletop content as well. I think we have a really good formula for a channel that is going to be very flavorful. A lot of people want to come to, and I'll be like Paizo's favorite child. That's my goal. I want to be their goodest boy, and you know, get to sit at the table with the adults.
We got to get at least a one shot out when Starfinder 2E drops, right?
We do, yeah. When the official book releases, we will try to do it then. I won't do the playtests, mostly because like it's like the same reason why I don't do third-party content for most of the stuff that we cover. Third-party content is amazing. It's absolutely wonderful, but I will never cover other games if I look at third-party content for like anything. And it's the same thing with playtest stuff. Like I talk about the playtest stuff, I'll make a couple of videos about it, but we won't have like a whole 10 session look using playtest characters. It's just something that's just not in the cards. Maybe in the future when we're a mega corporation and I can have multiple groups running at the same time. But until then, you know, like when the official Starfinder 2 comes out, we're gonna do our like a 10 sessioner at the very least. Are so compatible. I'm pretty stoked to see some time travel content. Well, I do know that they try to keep the two mostly separated. I don't think there's going to be a lot of crossover content, continuity or like AP wise. They try to keep them pretty separate, but it's third party access. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's just something that, like, at the very least, the rule sets will be so compatible that you can use them both and feel pretty good about it, which is the thing I'm excited about, because we played a little bit of Starfinder. We played a one shot from Starfinder, and it was okay, but it felt like old tabletop. It felt kind of archaic at this point, so it's something that I'm excited to see it kind of step up to this new platform that's a lot easier, I feel like. But, you know, I've been giving my points. Booter, what do you think is going to come out in PaizoCon?
I think I don't know because they have just revealed a lot of their stuff. I think it's probably going to be a lot of going over again what's already been leaked and like doing it officially and then filling in some gaps there for a lot of the Starfinder stuff. Um and we just know so much already.
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of the fun of it, right? This is just a theory
Yeah.
stream more than anything. We're just having fun. Let's see. Dead Phoenix here
I'm
has everything: Soldier, Envoy, Solarian, Witch Warper, and Mystic and Operative. Uh, with Technomancer and Mechanic coming out relatively soon after. And to be fair, you can talk about like any theories, ideas, fun ideas you might have for second edition as well, since I know, or Pathfinder, since that's one I know you're more familiar with.
My theory is actual sentient food. They're gonna give me
Actually,
a cake person.
better non-vegan food people.
I just have to manifest it at this point.
Yeah. Psionics? No, I don't think Psionics. Psychic is a psychic character. I don't think they're gonna delve too much more into Psionics, other than like maybe a character class like called Psionic Warrior or something, which is gonna be a martial psychic character. But even then, like, I don't think there's gonna be any more announced characters. And if you're talking about Starfinder, maybe. I don't know. Starfinder didn't historically have a ton of classes in comparison to Pathfinder. It mostly focused on its races because that's kind of the interesting thing, and also because like race played a lot more of a factor in Starfinder. So I don't know.
I feel like for psionics and stuff, they might go into like a astral soul monk type of dealio.
I think that'd be
to
cool.
Do something else. Yeah, I'd play one.
Ooh, class archetype for monk. I think whatever class archetype monk gets, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. Monks are just so kick-ass.
I want a monk archetype that's that is more like astral soul or like magic-y. Because I made a character for our one shot that one time that was basically that. And I had to do it through multi-classing. I would love to just have like a base monk, full monk that could do that.
Yeah. I mean,
so I don't have to dip into Magus, even though it worked very well.
Divine Mysteries and War of Immortals still have some class archetypes we haven't heard of, and those would be the ones that have the most spiritual monk archetypes, if they're going to have some. How late are you? Not too late. You're about halfway through the stream. And we only talked about it like 25, 30 minutes ago. So, you know, not too bad. Welcome, Indigo Boy. Indiegogo Boy, my bad. And see, this is the thing. Sight for my, hey, it's easy, does it? The person who is... who I look at whenever I'm like, what did I miss? This is the person you want to see for what Paizo's talked about so far. It also benefits that you edit for narrative declaration, or at least you do their shorts. Man, I feel ya. I have so many videos I have to do. Like, I plan on doing a keynote video and a Starfinder video at minimum. We'll see what they talk about in the God's Reign stuff. And hopefully the keynote doesn't have so much I need to make another video, but we'll see. Because I would like to start having some Lancer content every week. I mean, we had a Lancer video come out today, which, by the way, fun fact, YouTube was shaming me for the Lancer video. I look at the note in the Lancer video and it says, people who regularly watch your channel are showing less interest in watching this video. Poor Lancer. That's so sad.
Rip.
But yeah, there's like 20 plus channels to note for the Discord server. My average for spoilers. The last 3 PaizoCons have been 50 pages. Woof. All the Lancer people are enjoying the video, and that's all that matters. But yeah, I don't know. It's something where I don't get me wrong. I love Paizo, but man, they're breaking my back here. Oh boy. And you know what? I'll say this out loud. I know in a lot of my videos I say no one will make as much Pathfinder content as me. Man, I've been shown up a little bit. I gotta give kudos to Jake from Wisdom Check. He's been pumping it out lately as far as Pathfinder content has been concerned. He's been crushing it. I really hope he starts getting some more recognition for sure. I'll catch up. I'll eventually cover all the same things, but man, he's been on it for sure. And then D&D, it's Wisdom Check. D&D 2024 is also coming out. Yeah, I have a nightmare of a summer-fall spread. Literally, June is like the month I have the least to do other than catching up with the rest of the How the Wild stuff I have plans. And that's also the month that my sister and her wife are coming from Norway, and we're going to be doing some family stuff. And also we're going to go to the wedding venue that we're planning for our wedding next year at. So I'm going to be really busy in that month anyway. And then July, Player Core 2. August, we have Gen Con, where we're going to see the Starfinder 2E playtest release. And the Qiansha character guide comes out. And we're going to do our hopefully annual friend get-together in like the early part of the month, where everyone comes over and then I'm stressed because I can't work on videos. I could, Woo! And no one would hate it, but I won't because I want to hang out with my friends. Plus, we need to play Scythe.
We're gonna get so many board games in.
And then September, D&D 2024 comes out. And I am going to look it over so that we can all laugh at how they did it. Either they did it terribly, or maybe it's happy laughter, where we're excited because the game is good again. One of those is much more likely than the other, but I'll never tell. And then October, we have War of the Immortals. And then November, we have Divine Mysteries. Good thing I get Christmas off, I suppose. Oh, no, they'll have to delay. No, I think they're ready. But what they say they're ready with and what we'll get. I mean, it's like when 5e released. Like, yeah, we were all new to the game and we weren't really aware of everything that was coming out. But 5e released in an abysmal state. But it's kind of like the Skyrim You know, that's funny. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's such an apt analogy. It's the Skyrim of tabletop. They're just going to keep releasing the same game over and over and over, and the only people who like it are the ones who mod the shit out of it.
True. But it's going to come out every time there's a new console.
Well, the player's handbook is coming out in September, the GMG is in November, and the monster manual is out next year. Okay. I would be upset about this, but they say that the game should play more or less the same and is completely reverse compatible. Otherwise, the idea of this coming out without at least the monster manual is insane. If 5e D&D is Skyrim, what's Pathfinder 2e? Dark Souls? Kinda, yeah. In a way. Yeah, 2e is definitely Dark Souls. I mean, regardless, I'm going to cover it because, one, it's important for tabletop. As much as people dislike D&D, D&D is still important for tabletop. Plain and simple. I've heard that they're coming out with this new Vecna-based thing as well, and a lot of people don't like it. A new, like, adventure path or whatever. The Eye of Vecna or whatever.
I'm so done with Vecna. Get a new big boss. Everyone has used
Critical
Vecna
Role did it better.
Decade. I know. Critical Role did it, and then everyone went, yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, man, Watson can't help but just copy Critical Role's homework. You know, that's another huge thing that, I don't know, would you guys want me to talk about Critical Role's next campaign if they come out about it? Because it's likely not going to be in D&D. So I'm curious if you guys would like to hear about anything Critical Role related, even though it's tangentially tabletop related. It is, I think, an important tabletop event regardless.
Honestly, at this point, I think Critical Role's even bigger than D&D.
No, not really. Sadly. Otherwise, I would have, otherwise Daggerheart would have made a lot more waves than it ended up making.
That's true. Even though Daggerheart was fun.
Daggerheart is fun. I think it's really good. I think they need to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And while I definitely don't dislike their approach to the combat system, obviously a lot of people really ran rough with it, so
They just don't understand that they have to want to play the game to do the combat.
yeah. And I mean, I played a lot of rules-like games, so the combat was easy. It was fine. There was a moment where Devin didn't do anything for a few rounds, though. So, that happened. I also don't like all the token management they're trying to do in the game. It seems very weird.
Yeah.
I think there's better ways, honestly. Like, how Monster of the Week does it is slightly better. The monsters don't act in Monster of the Week. The monsters essentially act when the players interact with the monsters, unless some criteria is met where an event happens or a peril is thrown at the players. And that works, honestly. That kind of thing makes it much easier for everyone at the table. Though I don't think it's the best form of tabletop combat. It's something that I feel like Daggerheart would benefit from. But beyond all that, you guys kicked some ass, honestly. Daggerheart felt pretty weighty in the player's favor, which I think is good, honestly.
Yeah, I thought I was breaking the game with my character, and then it just worked for some reason.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I really liked my build
Yeah.
with my 2 evasion.
So, you know, Tabletop's got a lot going on. Like, I'm happy, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm happy. Man, we hit 5K last month. You know how crazy it is that we're now already at 5.6 a month later? That's insane. We'll probably hit 6K next month, which will be 2 months, 2.5 months probably, for 1,000 subs, which is really, really fast for the channel. And then Player Core 2 is going to come out, and oh my god, I will probably see 600, 800 subs in that month alone. Because no one else is insane like me to go over all the different changes in the book. And this year is super busy, and I hope the channel grows. But man, Tabletop is getting really big, honestly. A lot of people are talking about it. And I was talking to my barber today, got a little trim on my hair. And they were like, yeah, it's something I always saw, but I never really got a chance to play. And that's like everyone nowadays. Not like when I was growing up, when people were like, oh yeah, I'm not really interested in that LARPing stuff. You know, nowadays it's like, I always saw it, but I never really had a group of friends to try it out. Insane that that's what people are talking about nowadays. And with Pathfinder coming out, or with Paizo coming out with like game-changing rules, I'm pretty sure gonna crack open a Guinness what I miss. Fair. I'm pretty sure we're gonna start seeing some more crazy stuff. Also, VTTs have been going ham. The fact that Discord is now going to have a tabletop simulator in it is really cool, honestly. And honestly, that's the number one thing Tabletop has really been missing for all these years, is just accessibility. Easier ways to play it. Foundry is great, but Foundry is not very accessible. It has a pretty decent, like, costs associated with it. And I struggle with Foundry, okay? I consider myself pretty tech literate, but I struggle with Foundry quite a bit.
Foundry's a lot.
I have coders in my group who still struggle with it, so you know, like, it ain't accessible.
Yeah, I can't wait for the TTRPG scene to get involved in AI. Have a AI-based VTT where you can just ask a question in chat and the AI will go, here's the rule.
That would be kind of hype, yeah. Honestly, give me something that procedurally generates dungeons, please. Without scraping. Without taking the dungeon map makers' jobs. AI VTT feels like it probably replaced solo games law. Yeah, kinda. But, I mean, like, for the better, I suppose. Because you can make things still with that. You can still design stuff around that. You can still make rules or whatever that goes with that. Like, the AI can only do so much in the VTT space. And that's just how it's always going to be. VTT, like, besides art, which is always at risk when it comes to AI, there's not a lot that AI can do to, like, mess with VTTs or with tabletop stuff in general.
I can't wait to get the AI generated adventure modules where we can just go through one that feels so discordant, just disjointed all over, and it feels so weird. I'd be
That would
so
be
hyped.
that would be a fun video to make. We did an AI adventure path. Here's what happened. It killed us in the first room when it threw a dragon at us. Or it just like
Oh
AI
god,
generates monster stat blocks.
you fed it the dang D&D TV show.
Yeah.
They thought it was okay to fight Tiamat episode 1.
Episode 1. Like, yeah, PaizoCon's gonna be pretty insane. I feel like Paizo's really the company you want to look at for what is the future of tabletop, at least currently. Because, I mean, like, when you put it simple, AI, or I'm reading AI over and over in the chat. Paizo is actually working really hard on tabletop. They're making games that they want to play. They're all super nerds. And they have the money to do it. What competition do they have? Not Wizards of the Coast, I'm telling you that, because Wizards of the Coast is run by a bunch of monkeys with typewriters, I swear. Some of the stuff they put into that game makes absolute no sense.
Wizards has reached the point where they've discovered that they don't have to try and people will still buy their stuff. And now it's just Paizo and like small group developing all their stuff.
Yeah, it's the fact that, again, like the Skyrim analogy for D&D 5e is so accurate. Like, how many times have they released Skyrim and added literally nothing to it? Yeah, so I mean, like, don't get me wrong. For all my D&D players out there, for all of my friends who like D&D and all my viewers who like D&D, I hope to God they make a good game for y'all. I hope that they can match a lot of what they've been doing already and make it good. I just have no hope. I really don't. Everyone here has been touched and burned by D&D to some degree. And legitimately, I don't think I could go back to playing D&D. It would be very hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then Divine Mysteries with War of Immortals month after month, like, they're killing me. They're trying to murder me. How am I supposed to live my life when there's so many player options? Like, my life literally for the majority of the last few weeks has been get up, read a section of the book, make video about it, and then go on with my day. Every day. Every single day. And it's like, and then like on top of other chores, I swear. I can imagine Michael Sayer cackling them out. Yeah, right? Like, Michael Sayer, he's like, there's a lot of stuff coming. I can't tell you anything, but like, just know that whatever y'all are talking about, we probably already thought about it, and it's coming out next year. Insane. Though, actually, you know what? That is something about PaizoCon I really do want to, like, talk about. So PaizoCon is mostly a place where they get to talk about some of their new stuff, yeah, and have some of their panels. But it's mostly a place for, like, society play and digital play to run, like, simultaneously. Does anyone here think that's, like, really fun? Is anyone, like, hyped for stuff like that? I'm very curious. Because me personally, like, I could manage, because I've done it before. I've gone to conventions before. I signed up for a game, and I went and I played with people randomly. But doing that, like, over Discord seems not as fun. you know? Like when you're at a convention, you're like already at a convention. And so you're like, okay, I want to go and sit down for a couple hours, maybe play some games before I walk around again. And that's where it's fun. But like digitally, I just don't have the same play feel for it. I mean, even if it wasn't just a society thing, right? Even if it's just go in, sign up for a game to play virtually.
I think it's just serving a different purpose at this point. Like, in person's more like for the experience, you're just having a good time. I feel like nowadays it's going to be more for those people who are like, hey, I'm interested but don't have anyone to play with. Maybe I can try to find people to make a consistent group with here.
Yeah, I mean that's what
think
that
if they-
means is saying here.
Yeah, if they sort of lean into that aspect where it's like, try to find people to play with regularly, make a full campaign after this, do it. And I feel like it could be really good for tabletop as a whole.
I mean, because I'm also all for the creation of like a digital tabletop space where like your weekly Pathfinder game is just online in the official Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that's another thing. Like Society Play or Adventure League, they're so good like in theory, but I struggle to like actually because like think about it. It's like you take your character on an adventure, and now you can get like random or you can get like unique items from special event play stuff. That sounds really cool. But because tabletop's so narrative, it's hard to like get into it. Yeah, so I don't know. That's something that I specifically am like curious about how much actual virtual tabletop is. Cuz like virtual tabletop between friends, I think is a very different thing than like general like general play kind of stuff, society play kind of stuff. And I feel like it's just harder, but then you don't have to deal with anyone, and if it ever gets too much you could just leave. Like, oh god, yeah, like how do you talk to strangers? I mean, like I said, for people who would already do this, because conventions, while nice, you still have to go and play with other people there, but at least you're at the same convention and you get to try some stuff. Like sometimes you get to try new games at conventions, and I do believe they are doing some Starfighter 2E stuff for their version of Society. So I'm very curious what this plays a part in everything, because I want tabletop to be something as many people can interact with, and we're entering into an age where people are interacting mostly online. Though I do have to say, for someone who did Adventure League for like a couple years, there is a special magic to kind of going in person to a store and playing with the people who show up there. And I just don't feel like I could get the same anything out of it, I guess, online.
That being said, there also might be more people willing to do it online, since like whenever you see people like YouTubers and stuff talking about it, it's always like horror stories of it, which I think is also giving it like a sort of negative connotation for people who don't do it, because all they know about it is like everyone's awful experiences with it. So like being online gives them like a safer environment to do that kind of thing for new people getting into just randomly matchmaking.
Yeah, maybe, and that's the thing, right? Is like sometimes it's just for different people. I didn't think I would like Adventures League, and to be fair, I didn't like playing in Adventures League. I liked running for Adventures League, but I didn't really like playing in it as much. And it was still not my preferred form of play. But at the very least, like we moved to a new town. We didn't know anyone, and it was just like me and a couple friends. So we went and we were like, "Hey, what we'll meet people." And we did. I met my co-host there, Glue Boy, and I met my fiance at Adventures League, which, don't expect that, but it can happen. Have I missed anything? Hello, Ellie. How you doing? This is conjecture. We're just talking about stuff today. Nothing crazy. I feel like no revelations so far. But I don't know. Like, it's like the same thing with like MMOs, right? I love the idea of MMOs, but every MMO I've ever played, I've almost never gotten into the actual like community of it. I never like played with anyone. I just did a lot of solo stuff.
I
And
try.
what?
I've tried. You
Have
get me
you?
into it, and then I'm always the last one in it with you.
I got to the
Everyone
highest.
else
Like,
quit.
what are you talking about? The only one I could really think of that you actually did it was, oh god, the one Korean one.
I can't believe this. You roped me into them and don't even remember playing with me.
I tried to get you into Final Fantasy 14. We never got to play
No,
though.
I would never.
But I'm pretty sure I got the highest level in, oh god, what's it called? It has Arc in it. It's not Arcade though. Lost Ark.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Wait, what was that one? I know there was at least one we did that I was the last one playing it for sure.
I have no recollection of which one that would be. Warframe maybe, but you didn't even play Warframe a ton.
No, I definitely did not play Warframe as much as you guys.
I need to get Dante, by the way. Man, I really want that frame. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll play MMOs though. I'll play it with you. You start Final Fantasy, you do like there's so many I'd play. There's some
I'll never
interesting
give
ones
in.
coming out.
I refuse to play Final Fantasy. There's so many of them.
Well, there's only 2 MMOs, and there's only one that matters.
It's too many.
Too many.
When I was younger, I would struggle to tell the difference between Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. They occupied the same place in my brain for some reason, and they're not similar at all.
They're kind of similar.
They're the
Kind of the
same-ish, but
same energy.
they got like tangled up in there, up in my works.
One cool thing about Pathfinder Sign for me is that you get to interact with the game world and it's changing with you, responding to your stuff. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, society play, by all metrics, should be really cool. I think what would help society play, and this is something that I really think is going to be more of a future thing, is virtual tabletop stuff. Like, imagine signing up for like a society VTT thing. You have to send in your token art to make sure it's like safe for public use or whatever. and you have to register your art, but then you just get to go and play games with like your personal character arc where everything is like stored and no one can just lie on their character sheets, you know? I think stuff like that would be really, really cool.
When was the last time I
Oh,
took
what?
How many national
No!
parks could I hit in
Commercial! Fully integrate VTT with society. That's honestly how I think like tabletop would really go forward in the future. Is like actual stuff, because especially would be hella expensive to develop, probably. Maybe. Technology for VTT stuff is like advancing all the time. I mean, to be fair, I mean, that's not only a you problem. A lot of people struggle with that kind of stuff. That's why I think an actual VTT that is more gamified would be a lot easier. And the best part about it is it works perfectly with society, because then you can just have the everything ready for the adventure beforehand for as many GMs as you need to run it. Where every GM doesn't have to prep everything in the VTT. They just open it up and they're like, all right, I read the AP. I'm ready for today. Players go into a room, open a door, do whatever, bam, hit the encounter button, and here we go. Because in all honesty, that is just more organized forms of how we already kind of do things anyway. I feel currently the best way to play with a VTT is when everyone is in the same room and everyone logs into the same foundry and it all goes bare. I mean, like, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, the reason why we play VTTs is so that you can do it with people who don't live in the same area as you do. Like, because don't get me wrong, I agree. Tabletop is best when you can play with your friends, but so is like everything. Like, it sucks that LAN parties have just gone the way of the dinosaur. But that's just how you can play with your friends nowadays, because, you know, it's like, it's just a math game, honestly. The likelihood of finding people that you enjoy spending time with and can be friends with gets a lot bigger when you include, you know, the world, or at least your time zone. I mean, heck, I've met Booter in person once. That was last year. And we've been gaming together for like 3 years, 4 years now. 3 years?
Yeah. Something like that.
It feels so much longer, even though I know it's not. It's so weird. So, I don't know. Okay, Goon, I'm subbed. Okay, cool. Nice. Accessories and maps. I want it all. I mean, yeah. Well, good thing I'll be covering a lot of this on the channel, for sure. That's the one thing about PaizoCon that I think Paizo is a really good community building company. And when they did have their conventions, they were a lot of fun. So I'm curious to see how society, like, virtual play really plays out. This is not the first PaizoCon they've done it. PaizoCon has to have something about player core too. Maybe. I know Swashbuckler is getting tuned up a little bit. That's been spoiled already. Alchemist and Oracle are getting some reworks. You know what? Actually, the last 30 minutes here, this is actually a really good topic to touch on. Player Core 2. We're probably going to hear about some of this stuff during PaizoCon, but what things are we most interested in? Booter, what are you most interested in for Player Core 2?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like what I want is just more options on the stuff we already have. It's like, I want stuff that I can mix and match with the things so I can make weird builds some more.
Like in what way? Like new archetypes or?
Yeah, archetypes and like I want subclasses. What are they called in this? There's something different for every class. I want subclasses that are very different from the class they're a part of, which probably isn't likely. That's what I want.
I mean, like, I know there's a new archetype coming out for trap making specifically. They kind of tied traps into everything.
Yeah, that'd be pretty hype.
I see. I want to know about Oracle and Alchemist changes. Anything? Oh yeah, the new Dragon-blooded versatile heritage is coming out. True.
Ooh.
And how many of the original archetypes were rebalanced? Yeah, man. You know that. I am the archetype guy. No one on the internet has as many archetype videos as I do. And I'm horrified at the thought of having to redo some of my videos because there's a lot that are going to be touched on. Thank you, Anarchist Peanut, for the follow. Very appropriate considering our guest appearance of Peanut to Booter today.
Are we related somehow? Even though it's not spelled the same.
True. Player Core 2 hopes. Alchemist and Oracle overhauls. More morally flexible champions. Fair. The one thing 5e is good at. More spells that interact with counter spells like Quench, Squash, and Investigator tune-ups. My long-lost twin? Ba ba ba.
Am I the evil one or are you?
You're the evil one, Booty.
I like to think of myself more as chaotic,
You're the
morally
evil one,
flexible.
Booty.
I would like a champion like neutral type because they have the good and evil ones already, and the evil one is so hype, and I am upset that I haven't got to play one because somebody refuses to run the evil campaign that we keep begging for.
I have no time. Work harder, slave. Psh, make me richer so I can run more games. Yeah, champions, I don't know if they're... Because there's not going to be a neutral form anymore. Champions are not going to be, like, aligned in the same way.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's going to be a need for that. Granted, that doesn't mean that they're removing tenets of good and tenets of evil. I think they can still have those general concepts. I like a class archetype for champions so that gods that don't allow sanctification, like Gozer and Pharasma, will be able to have champions. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I don't know how much of it's actually going to change. But, you know, I am curious. So, Swashbuckler, I totally understand. I think how they get panache is too difficult. And even though they get some really good power buffs out of it, making it... It's not that it's not balanced. It's more that it's not fun when you have to struggle to get your panache unless you take one feat that lets the enemy go first. You know. Well, paladins will now have cause of justice. Okay. Which, I mean, again, that's just kind of mincing words. Like, justice is often in inference of good, you know. Not always, but usually.
And what I really want is I want a god book. I want a book about gods, and I want them to flesh out lesser known gods, aren't I? And just like give a lot of stuff about gods so that it'll be more fun to play like clerics and champions and stuff. And even other other classes that just believe in gods.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, easy for sure. I am curious about it. I think the hard part about champion is a lot of it is very meta. It's a lot of like what is law, what is good, what is evil, what is unlawful. You know, I feel like no matter what they come out with, it's always going to feel strange.
Yeah, all of the like titles that we give to all of these things are so generalized and like open because it's the nature of a tabletop game where you want to have that freedom. It's just like all of it means good and bad.
Yeah.
And it's just like you don't have to be good and or bad for you to follow the good and bad ones exactly.
Yeah. I'm very curious. Also, you know what? Another thing I'm very curious about. What changes do y'all want with Alchemists? What ones are you looking for? And you know what? I'll shoot another one. What changes do y'all want Oracle to go through? Also, I saw Investigator in there, which I think Investigator is great. I think they're fine. But maybe a little bit of that too. Like, Booter, you played an Oracle. What's your opinion?
I did.
What would you like to change with it?
I think I want them to have their focus spell stuff be like either more unique or just more interesting and like more like more benefits to them, because like I think it's really fun having a few spells that like are good and like your go-to spells, but they have their backfire downsides to them. Because my oracle was the bone oracle where he just sort of rotted when he cast them, and I was like, it was pretty cool because like a lot of the downsides to them can be upsides in certain situations. Like if you could just build your character around the downsides, you can make use of them to be more powerful. And I would just like to have it be like more interesting, because like when I played my oracle, it just felt like it was just some other normal spell I had, because that's exactly what it was. It was just different types of spell slots basically. And like I think it would be interesting because like now we have Kineticist, which is basically like a spellcaster that's not a spellcaster, and they made that really interesting and mechanically unique. I would like something like that for Oracle's focus stuff, where it's different from spellcasting even though it's effectively similar.
Getting power at a cost is very hard to balance. Yeah. You know what I would like to see from Oracle is I would like to see their individual curses affect their general spellcasting in addition to their focus spellcasting.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if it was more of a aspect to the class.
Yeah. I would like go ahead.
Yeah, like as it is, you can play an oracle and never once be cursed by your thing.
True.
Like you could just not use those spells.
But you then again, you could be a wizard and never cast a spell, 20. So that's kind of a bad argument to make.
Yeah, but like you can be an oracle and not cast one of those and not really miss out on a lot.
I guess that's
If
kind of
you're a
fair.
wizard and not casting spells, you're just not doing your class's thing, which is like everything you have mostly.
But that's the thing. Like oracles do have some really good focus spells, and
Yeah, you got to build specific builds to get those good ones in. So when I did my oracle, I had like okay spells, but like they weren't any particularly better than the spells I just took normally.
you'd be a worse sorcerer. Kind of, yeah. But to be fair, sorcerer's spell or the sorcerer bloodline stuff doesn't affect every spell they cast. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think Oracle is definitely kind of similar. They had some interesting stuff. I I really want oracles to really want to play the balancing game between their curse and their like
Yeah.
not using their curse. That's I think the interesting parts. And I feel like Paizo's kind of moved in a direction where they've become less restricted. They're seeing more that they can give players more power without it necessarily causing problems. And so I do feel a bit confident that oracles are going to get something, even if it's something similar to like sorcerer ability. I would be happy to see it.
I just want to see them like experiment with it. I'd be happy if they just like dropped Oracle 2, just like complete
Just a whole new remake
text
class.
rework. Yeah, they were like, let's try this out. Like maybe normal spell casting slowly builds up your curse and the focus spells are to like relieve it or something like that. Just I want them to do something wild with it. I want them to go all out and experiment hardcore with it. Because it's
Yeah.
like right now it feels sort of like the warlock of Pathfinder, where it's like super cool thematically and conceptually. And it just feels like it's missing something. Like it for what it could be, it feels like it's not. And that's
Yeah.
just sad.
I think I can agree with that. Oh, perfect idea. Oracle, similar to Psychic, but different. So Oracle gains access to a super cantrip by expending their focus point and getting cursed. But now they have like a much more powerful general use spell.
Yeah, I also want the curses to be like more, because right now it's just 3 stages and stuff. I want
I
it to
think
be
that's
like
fine.
it's fine, but I would love like more stuff you can do with it. I want to keep going. I want to choose if I really want to cast until I die.
Yeah.
If I cast this spell 5 times, it actually just kills my character.
Also,
I
thank you,
want that
Kagoon,
option.
for the follow and the Prime sub. By the way, do you guys know we're on Twitch? If you haven't used your Prime sub already, we are accepting Prime subs. Help support the channel. I don't know. I think Oracle is the ripest for the biggest changes. But
Yeah.
traditionally, they're not going to get changed more than Witch. Witch
Yeah.
got a better familiar, which I think is overall impactful. So I think the curses just need to be worked more into it, where the curse is a power gain, even if it makes your life a little harder.
Yeah.
Alchemists, there's some good alchemist things. Alchemist getting legendary DC, I think, is perfect. Great. I want that. They have some things that allow them to change their alchemical items to like use their class DC instead, which I think is perfect for them. Easy said, make Alchemist 2-hit ratio closer to that of other martials. They're very close, but I kind of agree. The thing though is you have to do it. You have to game the system. You have to try to break the game with Alchemist to make Alchemist work well, which I think is interesting, good, but not great general design for your average players. So I think, yeah, I mean, just give them the same martial increases, and it'll make everyone happier. Doesn't Alchemist also have math boosting feats? Maybe. I mean, like I said, Alchemist can get so close to other martials with the use of the proper mutagens that they are almost as good as other martials, and in addition have all their alchemical items as they need it. Granted, they need to, one, the player needs to know what items they need to use, which is super hard. And two, it sometimes requires too much setup to be viable in a lot of combats. So, yeah, and just give them the normal martial stuff, and I think a lot of people will complain less. Otherwise, I think they're really good still, honestly.
Yeah, the problem with Alchemist is just it has a higher barrier of entry than other classes.
I would say it has an unreasonable barrier of entry. Like,
Yeah.
you want to play this class well, you better go and memorize all the alchemical items in the books.
Yeah, it's like the only class that you actually have to go and do a lot of research into to play well at all.
Also give Alchemist a cantrip bomb equivalent for level 1. Yeah. Yeah, I think they should have some kind of just like free alchemical item that doesn't do a lot of damage but gives them something. Though I will just generally disagree with the idea. Alchemists right now can have their best mutagen, give their best mutagen to their fighter ally, so I feel like mutagenists should be able to do more with their mutagens at level 1 is probably needed. I disagree. One, they're already better with it because they can do flashbacks, so they can get it back as a free action, which is really good. I think it's like once per day. And two, the benefit of Alchemist is they can give their shit to other people. Like, Alchemist is good for everyone and themselves. It's more just, you don't get that when you don't have an Alchemist, hence the power in Alchemist. It doesn't matter if you can give Alchemist power away to other characters. You still have an Alchemist, so you can just do it whenever you want. I definitely know Swashbuckler is getting a little bit better, which is nice. What was the investigator thing that was brought up? Give investigator more combat oomph. You know what? I'll agree as far as I think they just need some better feats. In all consideration, investigator being my favorite class, but having some of my least favorite feats is outstanding. Alchemist should still feel good to play even without necessarily being a vending machine. And they do. They are. I've seen Alchemist builds that are insanely good to play as an Alchemist. One of the strongest tank builds in the game is being an Alchemist. A regenerating tank
I really
Alchemist.
liked your Alchemist build that you were talking about for our Kingmaker game.
Yeah.
The like Smoke Soul.
The Smoke Soul, yeah, that one's a really good one. But I do agree that giving them free alchemical bombs would be a good idea. Or just let them use martial weapons too. Man, Alchemist got the double dicking. They not only were they left with only Alchemist bombs as their only martial weapon, but they also only got to max expert, which felt bad. I mean, I think for Dev Phoenix, I think the way they do that is literally kind of what Oyman just said. Is just let them use their DCs for their alchemical items. I think that just is good. Plus, it makes even weak alchemical items still viable later game. And to be fair, like for easy here, I agree mostly because honestly, Alchemist action economy can feel crazy. Like you can't bomb effectively unless you take certain feats. So if you don't take those specific feats, it's like, well, spend an action, make a bomb, spend an action, make another bomb.
There's also a build you could do that I'm coming up with now, which is it might be higher level stuff, but there's a if you make like a mounted alchemist build, there's a mount equipment where you can load in like 6 bombs and drop them from your mount. I think you can do them like all at once, which is wild. Which would be pretty hype to have, because you can do that and have a flying mount, which just have like a flying mount that bombs your enemies from overhead with all of your cool explosives that you load up beforehand.
My Alchemist player took healer subclass, but felt like they had to take quick bomber. Why the hell would you ever want to spend 2 actions throwing your main weapon? Right? Exactly. It's super unfortunate. And it's still 2 actions if you don't just quick, or if you need to actually quick alchemy it. It's really weird. You just want to commit war crimes, huh? I told you guys, Booter's the evil clone. Or the evil twin.
If war crimes were so wrong, why did they make them so fun to commit? Is all I'm saying.
Blightburn. Yeah, I mean, like, Paizo made an amazing 3-action system. And then they bogged it down in some of their classes to the point where some classes just don't feel fun to play. It's absolutely tragic. Kissinger, is that you? It's really, really sad. Like, Magus, I feel, is the bigger tragedy between it and Alchemist, but at least Magus has the benefit of, like, hey, want to see me do 300 damage in a round? Which is kind of fun. Alchemist, even in the best scenario, is like, want to see me do 4d6? Spellcasters need more variable action spells. I keep saying it. Exactly. I agree. 100%. And to be fair, like, again, Alchemist isn't bad. It's... And Mark Seifter himself said, Alchemist is actually one of the more broken classes if you know how to play it. But it's, like, good. In order to do that, I have to be, like, a genius to play the class. That just doesn't feel good. Sadly, those are good Lancer numbers. Yeah, but in Lancer, they don't have, like, 60 health. Oh, and to answer Niruk earlier, Dayrog, mythic stuff is going to be in War of Immortals. They're going to talk about mythic wolves there, so. We know when that stuff is coming. But yeah, alchemists just need a little tuning. I think they just need... Well, yeah, but the enemies don't have 60 HP typically. Alchemists just need a little tuning. Like, that's the thing with, like, a lot of these classes. a lot of the classes that a lot of people want to see some of the new stuff for just feel like they need to be tuned up a little bit. Because honestly, Sorcerer is kind of sad. I don't like blood magic most of the time. It just doesn't feel like it's very impactful for what's supposed to be a major class feature. Like, I think... Please buff blood magic. I agree. See, like, when I look at class design, the level, the metric for a class design, I should feel for most classes should be most classes should feel as good to play as Inventor does. Like, Inventor, I think, is a really good benchmark because Inventor does exactly what it wants to do. It can invent things, it can do all kinds of stuff. It has a lot of good out-of-combat stuff in addition to its in-combat stuff, but its in-combat stuff really plays into what you want to do. Are you going to be the strongest martial? No, but you're going to look good doing it. You're going to come in swinging with your exploding weapon or use your stealth invisibility suit or, you know, whatever else, you know, they can do. And they're a class that really uses their class DC. So guess what? They get legendary class DC. I feel like it's a really good metric because fighter doesn't need to be interesting to be good. Its +2 innately just makes it an effective class, and it makes it really easy for people to hop into. Sork is in a bad spot because its basic spellcasting is amazing. Problem is, so is Wizard, and they also get amazing class features. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why you would ever play a Sorcerer over a Wizard, other than story. I mean, when you compare the two, it's either, hey, I'm a Wizard who not only studies a specific type of magic, has an arcane item that can refill my spell slots, and I have a special thesis that overall changes how my character works, either having stronger familiars, or being able to make my own staff, or be able to switch my spells out on the fly. Not on the fly, but in 10 minutes. And then it's like, Sorcerer is like, my dad fucked a dragon. So every once in a while, that's deserved. That's the deserved bunk. But every once in a while, my spells do a little more damage. Yeah. That's fair.
I'm glad Devin saved me from almost playing a sorcerer. Coming to me asking for the our characters being connected, so I made the kineticist and found my favorite class.
Yeah. Yeah, also, why play kineticist, or why play sorcerer when I can play kineticist? The class that actually feels like a class that has free magic, like born magical. Legitimately, that's a good point, and I hate it. Kineticist is the sorcerer we all wanted. Oh no!
This is so good though.
Oh no, that's so true. Kineticist is the sorcerer
get
we
tree?
all wanted. Oh no. I hate that. I hate that you've told me this. It's so true.
It's just hard to beat a class that gives you infinite tree.
Yeah, it's literally... Sork might be able to get tree. I mean, they can get tree. They just can't cast it infinitely.
Yeah, I can cast it every turn with no repercussions, so get wrecked anyone who wants to hurt me and my friends.
The tree is broken at low levels. Honestly, it's broken at a lot of levels. Just negating damage is good.
It's so good.
Man, like, there's a part of me that has been shifted into inner turmoil now. You've created a maelstrom of conflict in me because now I'm thinking about it, and my brain is desperately trying to justify Sorcerer in the face of Kineticist, and it can't. I thought Wizard was bad because Wizard was just kind of a cooler spellcaster. But in the face of Kineticist, I'm just like,
Yeah.
how is this not just how Sorcerer should have been?
I think even what is Devin playing? A psychic?
Yeah,
I think even psychic's a better sorcerer than sorcerer.
I disagree.
What?
Because sorcerers get so many spell slots. Devin complains about not having spell slots. Sorcerer does not have that problem.
I guess that's true.
Am I a cursed maelstrom? Yes. I am the bad luck gamer. After all. Man, I don't know. that hurt me. That hurt me so much. I don't know how Sorcerer can recover. Kineticist is exactly what Sorcerer is like in the like. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
If you just took off the theming for it, Sorcerer is just Kineticist.
Yeah. The only thing that Kineticist is missing is other sorcerer types that are non-elemental based. If Kineticist wasn't so heavily tied to the elements, it'd just be sorcerer, peak sorcerer.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know a lot of magic, but I can just use magic willy-nilly and make wizards like, yeah, I'm angry because Kineticist just makes wizards angry because wizards just like, I can prepare all these spells. And Kineticist is like, yeah, but can you use 5th level spells over and over and over like it's nothing? I hate this. Who needs elemental sorcerer when Kineticist? How is Paizo going to recover from this? This revelation has made me just... My opinion of sorcerer has plummeted. It went from like kind of being like a B, C rank class in my brain to now being an F.
All right, hear me out. So Paizo hears about this, goes, all right, we're going to turn Kineticist into the sorcerer type class. Combine what sorcerer is now with what oracle is.
Nah.
Combine the two classes. We're sitting pretty.
I mean, kind of interesting, but man, I legitimately don't feel good after that. That feels... It's like an inconsistency in Paizo's overall really good game design that now troubles me to no end. They do have some really cool feats, I will say. Sorcerer does have some really interesting feats, and they can definitely make some very interesting builds. I feel like it's just their class kit is really behind. And why can't sorcerers be the fighters of spellcasters? You know, why can't sorcerer just be the de facto really good spellcaster fighter? Give Sorc +2. +2 is not a great thing to give spellcasters because then they become very powerful.
Yeah, it's just like fighters.
Why couldn't wizards be the spellcasting fighters? Because wizards are the wizards of wizards. Or spellcasters. That's why. Like, the whole point of a sorcerer is that you're supposed to be born with magic, and magic's supposed to be really easy for you to use and more powerful in your hands because you were, like, born of it. Man, that Kineticist thing is fucking me up real bad. I can't help it. It's so accurate, and I hate it because I don't know what they can do to change sorcerer, to like make me think that's just not going to be the case forever now. I hate that.
They just made Kineticist too good. They perfected the class.
It is a really good class.
The problem is I played one and now I'm gonna struggle to not play Kineticist for every character in the future.
Yeah. Man. Oh. Damn. I have to sleep on this. I need to come to like some kind of resolution with this. That super fucked me up. Oh my god. Name one class that even comes with it. Yeah, Sorcerer needs, I think, a bigger boost. I think their Bloodline magic just needs to be better. I think if they fix Blood magic to be better, everything would be fine. Or at the very least, make their Blood magic apply to every spell they cast, not just granted spells and Bloodline spells, and we're good to go. Because, actually, here's my 2 cents on the matter. As much as I do think Kineticist is just a better sorcerer, sorcerers do have access to very, very unique Bloodline spells, and those focus spells are really cool. My Reach sorcerer build I made using the Abhorrent Sorcerer is a really cool build and can only be done by sorcerer. So I think the thing they need to do is, if anything, just double down on the focus points like Psychic, I guess. I don't know. Double down on it, and rather than having like enhanced cantrips, just make their focus spells super impactful with their blood magic on top.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Instead of going the constantly magical route, be the overloading magic where you got so much and then just blow your load all at once.
Yeah, I think that's how they come out of this on top, is because Bloodline spells already just use their blood magic. So just go all in on that. Make their blood magic cooler, or at the very least make their blood magic cooler and just make it only with their Bloodline spells. Or yeah, like Easy Does It just said, smaller blood magic bonus to all spells, and then bigger effect for focus or granted spells. I would say just focus if they wanted to go bigger, just to make it more balanced. And also, just better blood magic, please, for the love of all that's good. Like, Abhorrent's blood magic is worthless. Not worthless, but it's just not cool. Alright, so it grants a +2 status bonus to will saving throws for 1 round. Woo. So if you're fighting an enemy who doesn't make you use your will save ever, then I guess it just doesn't do anything. And you're not getting any benefit during that fight. Just make all the blood magic generally useful, and I think we're good to go. And make some of their bloodline spells need to be better too, because like Tentacular Limbs is really good, but it works mostly with touch spells, which there's not many touch spells. Man, I shouldn't have invited you, Booter. That element kinesis thing fucked me up. You've scarred me for life.
I'm the evil one.
You are the evil one. It's true. I said it. I said it, and you know what? It's come true. Tentacular Limbs is also kind of nullified by Reach, but well, you just use it instead. and it uses a focus point rather than an extra action, which I think is better, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think Player Core 2. We're pretty much at the end of stream now. So before we go, how much do you guys have faith that Player Core 2 is gonna fix these classes? Like, give me like on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you think Paizo is gonna actually fix these classes and make them good? Or are we gonna see some disappointments coming up? What do you think?
I think it's going to be 90% good, and there's going to be like one or two things that there's going to be like meh, but we're not going to care that much because we got so much other stuff.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to mess up anything too bad. I think it's just going to be a lot of hype stuff and then a few things that are like, this is whatever and I don't care. But nothing that will anger us. I have faith in my boys so far.
All right. See, this is what I like to see. This is why I like doing stuff for Paizo. Everyone here is like, generally, they're sure it's going to be good. Like, we got lots of high numbers here. Also, Devin throwing that D&D 2024 shade. I mean, he's not wrong. They won't be doing what they're doing in 2024, or at least what they consider fixing is.
I think it would be really funny though if they started out and they psych us out with a 2024 play where they start going in it and then go, just kidding, that's all a lie, we're doing the real stuff now.
That would be a good play.
The equivalent of Apple going up on stage and dropping their phone and shattering it before revealing the actual new phone.
Yeah. My impression is I do feel like they're going to be tuned up. I think a lot of people are going to be happy, but I don't think it's going to be enough tuning to necessarily like 100% fix everything.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of what happened with Witch I love. I absolutely love the new familiar stuff. I think it was sorely needed, and it was really good for Witch. Witch still has some feats I feel like are just kind of weird on Witch specifically, and nothing really got fixed around that specifically. And War Priest was like, okay. I mean, War Priest got some really good feats. Again, don't get me wrong. War Priest did get some pretty good tune-up feat-wise, but it didn't get really what everyone wanted with War Priest in the end anyway. Granted, that's what the Harbinger is for. So, you know.
I do feel like, or they're going to do stuff to Oracle and it's just going to be like, this helps, but it's not enough.
Like, I like your 90%. I think it's going to be like,
Yeah.
it's going to feel better. I think everything is going to feel better. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they can possibly make Sorcerer a better Sorcerer than Kineticist anymore. That's just, oh my god, that's so terrible. But hey, if they can make it at least its own unique fun. Sorcerer desperately needs it, and I think Champion is going to be something that like a lot of people are going to either love or hate. It's just going to be that vague kind of wording and stuff where it's just like, we're based on convictions, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So I think it will be good. I'm very confident Paizo is going to work everything out. They always have. I think Player Core 1 really showed that they are paying attention, and they gave a lot of boost to classes that desperately needed it. But Player Core 2 is a big one. I think that's why it's been delayed so long, is because it has so much it has to change. And like I was worried about Witch before, but now that I'm looking at Sorcerer hard and close, I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be rough. So we'll see. And hey, actually, we'll see tomorrow, because tomorrow I will be streaming. The stream starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it will be going to 1 p.m. It's a 3-hour stream. We're going to be looking at both the Paizo open letter, which is a 2-hour thing, and then we're going to go immediately into Starfinder, which is a 1-hour thing. Depending on what happens, I might stick around for God's Reign, but there's no promises. And also, I have not streamed like a 4-hour stream that wasn't me running tabletop. So I don't know if I have the stamina for that. And also, I just didn't account for it in my schedule. So we'll have to see. It's also just at a really rough point in the day. I was hoping everything would be a little bit later, but I guess it makes sense. So yeah, that's everything we have. I was going to drop another How of the Wild video tomorrow, but that's been moved to next week, as my normal release time / work time is going to be working with PaizoCon and getting ready for stream. So, you know, it is what it is. Go check out Glue Boy. He's sick today. We've started the Nurgle counter for the year. I'm surprised it took this long to get to the Nurgle counter. We'll see if it goes up any higher, but I know he's been doing some really good stuff. So please go check him out. And I don't know, where can we find you, Booter?
That's a great question. You can find me on the Bad Luck Gamer streams every Tuesday. And I'll usually be there.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty good track record.
I'm no Glue Boy.
True.
I only
Damn,
dabble with
shame.
Nurgle once in a while.
Now that I have the Nurgle font too, maybe I'll just start putting it over his portraits during those streams when he misses.
Oh, yeah. Slug wants me to plug our game Twitter that we have now, which I definitely remembered. There it is in the chat.
Are you able to post links? Oh my god, you are.
That's crazy.
Did I
The
make you a
link is
mod?
still Twitter.
You're not a mod. I need to fix that. Make sure people aren't posting weird links in chat.
Yeah. Like
Oh well.
Sketchy slug person.
I know, Slug. But yeah, that's something that's definitely got to get fixed. But yeah, well, I guess that's gonna be it. Wait, not much more to say. So, I guess we'll go ahead and say goodnight.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.